Welcome. I am Rodge, and these are my demons. These conversions were intended to be used as Beasts of Nurgle in 7th and 8th edition Warhammer. They are based off the Plague Drone bodies with some extensive conversion work. The Plague Drone bodies are more of the C shape, but these guys were cut in half and repositioned to end up with more of an S shape. And then I had to cover up quite a few holes for the wings and the arms and stuff like that with green stuff. And then I left the head off to create room for these beautiful tentacles. So I'm going to talk about these tentacles at length in this video. I use the same technique for quite a few of the other models, and it's actually not that difficult to do. You're going to mix up a big batch of green stuff, and actually you're going to let that sit for a little bit, maybe 20 or 30 minutes. You don't want it fresh. You want it to sit and partially cure for a little bit before we start working with it. After that amount of time has passed, then you're going to start breaking off pieces and basically just rolling them into tubes with your hands there. And it helps to be lubricated here. A little Vaseline on your hands will help you roll them out without sticking to your fingers too much. And after you get some nice long tubes, you're just going to let those sit for another 20 or 30 minutes. Now, once they've sat for a while, you're still going to be able to work them a little bit before they set completely. At that point, you're going to be curving them with your hands, or you could use a little pen or a sculpting tool. You want to handle them kind of gently. Don't want to leave any fingerprints on them at this point. Once they're in the positions that you like, then you can just let them sit and cure for the rest of the night. The next day, you're going to have some solid tentacles, and you can cut these up and glue them to the model as you see fit. So I cut them down to length and then just rimmed the mouth hole of this here Beast of Nurgle. And that's how I did pretty much every tentacle in this here army. I rolled out some seriously huge batches of 50, 100 tentacles at one point when I was working on the infantry here, which you're going to see in the future video. Now, I've had people ask me or make comments about the durability of the tentacles here. And as long as you use green stuff, they're actually extremely durable at room temperature. So they're elastic, so you can actually, I can push them around with my fingers, and they're not going to break or anything like that. They're just going to bend a little bit. Now, obviously, you don't want to be doing that too much, as the paint will fleck off, but they're pretty solid. They'll bend before they break. The exception is if it gets cold out, so 30, 40 degrees Fahrenheit or even lower. So I haven't had any of these models break, but I know I've traveled to events with some Skaven Packmasters from years ago that I made green stuff whips for, and we're kind of the precursor to these guys. And they were in the trunk, and it was cold, and a lot of them snapped when I accidentally put pressure on them when I was unloading them out of the trunk. So that's the only thing you got to worry about with this technique here. I'm not going to comment on the paint scheme, but if you want to know how that was done, the pearlescent effect and the shell, I talked about that in the last video with the Furies. These were some of the first conversions I did, and they are still some of my favorite for this army. I love these models, and they're a lot of fun to make. I would even consider making some of these on a commission basis. I don't know what it is about these worms, but I just think they're really cool, and I wouldn't mind making some more for fun and for profit. But anyways, hope you've enjoyed the models, and if you have any questions, go ahead, post below. Otherwise, I will talk to you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed this little chat about my demons.